Good evening, everyone. Internet's a little slow tonight, so I might be a bit choppy, but we can get through it. I want to shout out everybody that has joined us already. Figuratively speaking, good to see you. Susudio's here. Thank you for joining, Susudio. Jeff is here from All Music Fan 88. Good to see you. Honor You 83 is here. Good to see you, sir. Motu Jones are hanging out in there. He's going to be in here in just a minute. Gojitron is here. Let's see those superpowers wish lists, and I'll let you know if they're correct. All right, Gojitron. Nightwing, hey, Bill and Joneser, let's do this. We will, sir. And Gojitron said somebody best have Captain Carrot. I wasn't even thinking of that. Wasn't even thinking of that being in the superpowers line, but yeah, didn't even make it to the honorable mention, says Joneser. That hurts, says Gojitron. Sorry about that, sir. Let's get our favorite comic book guy in the mix here.
What's up, everybody? It's Joneser, your favorite comic book guy. So let's do this! What's up, everybody?
See you, Joneser.
How's yes, things sir. It's going, been a while. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Yeah, since last night, I guess around midnight or so when we got done with the show. We had a good show last night, I thought.
Yes, sir.
Nightwing says, I was watching Bill rant about what to know about YouTube. Love it. Thank you, sir. Laughing his ass off this morning. My coworker was what I was laughing at, and I was about my friend Bill and Weird Fantastic Toys. Subscribe. Yeah, thank you. Please do subscribe. Need all the subscribers we can get here on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. What is Rickster saying here? Joneser sounded like my ex-mother-in-law. Let's do this.
I'm gonna try not to read into that too much.
Me either. Don't read into anything he says. Look. If you believe what Rickster's saying is the truth, he's already won.
Oh, I love the game Rickster plays. I enjoy every bit of it.
Absolutely.
He is a man after my own heart.
Me too, dude. Oh, look there. Hello there, says Eternian Ellipse, Sir Clifton. Well, hello there to you too, sir. And he and I had a good chat this afternoon. It was good. It's good talking to you, man. I wished I could have chatted a little more, but I had to run to the store and get some eggs and buttermilk so we can make cornbread for supper. Man, I love me a good pan of cornbread, Jack. You don't even eat cornbread, do you?
No, I just throw that away. That's just that's like the little parsley thing on the steak. You just throw that away.
Jesus Christ. You don't know what good cornbread is. It's sad.
Too dry. It just gets stuck to the roof of your mouth. Then you got to drink like a gallon.
Some people like it like that. That's the kind that you put in milk and you eat it in a glass of milk. Not the kind that we make here at my household. We use buttermilk and an egg in it, and it makes it almost like cake. It's moist and good. With butter on it, says Nightwing.
The kind I had, I couldn't even spit it out. It just stayed in there. I was like trying to get rid of it, and it wouldn't go.
Some people like that. I'm not a fan of that kind of cornbread, but the way my wife makes cornbread, yeah, I like that. Let's do this. Mother-in-law tagline did not sound right. No, it did not, Rickster. And Jeff likes cornbread. He likes cornbread. Well, good. Lots of folks around where I live likes the cornbread, and it's good for soaking up juices like bean juice. If you got pinto beans, oh yeah. And Nightwing likes to put grape or strawberry jelly on his, yeah.
Yes, sir. Soak up the moonshine or whatever you have out there.
Jeff is more like a cone head, says Rickster. And it was good talking to you, Sir Cliffy, and maybe you can stick around with us. Maybe you won't go to sleep on us this time. Har.
The cone head. We come from France.
Let's drink mass quantities. Keep the beer inside the thing, and then open all of them at once and just start pouring it into your mouth.
Right. Here, you need more nanocarbons?
Cornbread is good if you use creamed corn in it. Yeah, I've had it that way. I'm not particularly fond of that, but I am fond of what they call Mexican cornbread, where you do mix whole kernel corn in with your cornbread mix, and you add a lot of spicy spices in there and make it taste yum yum.
See, I got a theory about this kind of stuff. The cornbread, the candy corn, and then them peeps. There's the right way to eat those. You just throw it away.
I don't eat candy corn or peeps, but I do eat whole kernel corn from. I don't like corn on the cob as much, but I will eat it if it's fresh.
I love me some fresh corn on the cob right off the grill. Ooh boy, that's good
Sometimes it's so
stuff.
good. Sometimes it's so good that you don't even have to put butter on it.
Right, get the sweet corn.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead and get started with our presentation for the night. All right, here we go. This is what Joneser has worked on so hard. Is the presentation that we're going to show you tonight? It's our wish list for Todd McFarlane's Superpowers line. And before we get started on this, let's have a little discussion about how this line has fared so far. So I'm sure everyone has noticed this. I certainly have. You can't hardly find them anywhere except at GameStop now. You can't find them at Walmart anymore. What's going on, Joneser?
Well, in my experience, when it first came out, it peg warmed some. At first, we were excited to get them, and the first couple WalMarts were starting to have them, and I was driving around looking. And then once they did show up, boy, did they show up! And I'd say Superman, Darkseid, Batman, and John Stewart lingered a lot. And
A
then
lot.
when we got to the next one, Flash started showing up. He lingered a little, but not a lot. Now he's going for a premium. And then the next wave kind of lingered quite a bit too. And then we started getting to where you got to the Black Mantas and the reverse flashes where you couldn't find it at all. So the line was easy to collect and a pain in the butt to collect all at the same time.
Yeah, and the John Stewart stayed around for like 2 years, and they finally cleared that off the clearance aisle. I think I bought one for $2 and sent it off to somebody here recently. The recent wave, the one before or the one with the Brainiac in it and all those guys. I actually found all those in a GameStop, and I think Manic Plastic Mike was interested in those, and so I sent them off to him, and all he had to pay was shipping plus price. But let me get into the chat here for just a second. Bill and Joneser, Nightwing says he wants to pick up Batman Ar-Rezar or whatever he is and Lord Superman, and would we be interested? I would not. I had a chance to get those when they came out, and I wasn't interested. What about you, Joneser?
I passed on both of them. I just saw them the other day when I was doing my Walmart shopping for clearance stuff. I'd seen one of each of those, and no, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm not big on the repaints.
me
I
either.
got my Batman and my Superman, and I'm very happy with the ones I got. These are the two I'm partial to.
Yeah,
This invokes my childhood. This is what I like. I don't need
and
all that purple, pink Batman and all that.
uh, uh, Jeff's saying, do you see these characters on the screen, folks? None made by McFarlane, maybe 3. Well, that's what this is about, sir. This is about our wish list, and sometimes wishes come true, and sometimes they don't, right, Joneser?
Made this list, we wanted to go over 20 plus characters. So I had Bill do his picks beforehand. That way I would look at Bill's top 10 list, and then I made a separate top 10 list that didn't have any of Bill's picks in it. So there would have been some bleed over, had we done this independently of each other, but we wanted to really make a show out of this and talk about 20 plus characters, and I think we're fixing to do just that.
Yeah, and as we go through these, we'll also be commentating on whether we actually think that these will be produced or not. And in some instances, not necessarily. And so Studio brings up the Green Hornet. Well, here's the thing about Green Hornet. First of all, I don't even think DC's licensing him, and that is not a DC character. That is owned by Condé Nast. And if anybody were going to release that, I would be looking hard at the Long Box Heroes or the what was it called? The Power Stars line that Toy Otter's been working with. You may see them in that. Rickster Aquaman looks nothing like Jason Momoa. I don't think he was supposed to. He was supposed to look like the bearded comic version that you see occasionally. Yeah. And I'm kind of glad they got rid of his hook hand. Did you like hook hand Aquaman?
I did not like Pirate Aquaman. I personally would have preferred one that more invoked the original line, but I don't have a problem with this Aquaman. He's the right color scheme, and he looks enough like the one I grew up with, maybe more in the 90s than the 80s. But I'm fine with this Aquaman. And Bill and I will probably, as we go into this, discuss where we've deviated from the original looks and modernized some of the characters, and where we haven't, and where we should and where we shouldn't.
I will tell you something that I saw recently a customizer did with that Aquaman that I think is a worthwhile thing to think about if you've got the money to do it. This guy took the Aquaman head that's on that Aquaman that you just showed on screen, took the head off and replaced it with the thank you, Studio, for the $1.49 super chat, super sticker of a birthday cake with a. But anyway, yes, here we go. Let me put that up on. No, I can't put that on the screen right now. It's not up on. Anyway, back to what I. There we go. It's over there. Thank you, Studio. My featured chat is far behind the actual chat, so I can look at that and I can look at my featured chat, and I don't see it there yet. I will. But anyway, what was I about? Aquaman. He took the Aquaman head off of the body and replaced it with the Flash Gordon head from the Power Stars line, and it looked really, really good.
That's an interesting idea, and I mean, I suppose if this bothered me enough, I could do that. But again, he reminds me of reading Aquaman comics in the 90s, so I kind of like them. And I'm glad they didn't do the Jason Momoa one, because I wouldn't have liked that.
Well, as far as I know, they actually did that in the movie figure line. And if you want to get a Jason Momoa figure, those are about the same size as these. And I know a lot of people did that with the Black Manta because they couldn't get Black Manta because he wasn't available. We were going to talk about that a bit too. I think, Jones, about the availability of these figures. I mean, good God, you had two of them that are going for like $300 on eBay now, and that would be Reverse Flash and Black Manta. Thank God he released the Black Manta that you can get in this next wave that's going to be coming out.
Well, not trying to correct you, Bill, but the Black Manta, you are correct. $300+. The Reverse Flash, he's trending around 100, so he's not quite gotten there. But I bet he does if they don't re-release him.
He was there at one point, and then the price dropped when all those people from Australia and China started selling them on eBay for $35 plus shipping.
Okay. Because you've probably been following it a little more closely than me. I looked at the prices prior to coming on today, so I could be right on the nose of what these suckers sell for right now.
You're the eBay expert here, not I. And if you want to see a tutorial on how to use eBay, go over to Jones's channel and look up Grinding the Gears.
Oh yeah, that's a funny one. I did end up getting that book, by the way.
My computer is running at slow pokey speeds right now. I'm going to try to sit here. There we go. We can get the slide to go forward there. We're going to get into our honorable mentions, and I love this picture. This is picture you've stolen from somewhere on the interwebs that's around everywhere of almost the entire line that someone took a picture of. I love this picture. Thank you for putting it up there.
I borrowed without asking.
It's called research.
Okay.
You researched well,
yeah,
sir.
I researched it.
Jason Momoa should play Bruiser in a biopic, says Rickster. All Music Fan says, I need all of these figures to be made in the line that are in this picture right here. He wants to see all of these. And Joneser, with a few of those, is right along there with you there, Jeff. I, on the other hand, I'm wanting to see figures that weren't released in the line or need to be released in a different way than what they were originally released. I will get into that as we go along. Gilster 37 with us tonight. Good to see you, man. Glad you could join us. All right, so here are your honorable mentions, Joneser. I'll let you take the lead here on this slide.
Well, obviously we had to keep this down to 10 picks, so there's going to be some stuff that didn't get in there. I would have loved to seen Penguin come back just because he was such a big part of the original Superpowers line. I love that look. Two-Face only got a Toy Biz release. He had that big giant coin in his hand. Flipping action was kind of dumb. It'd be nice to see them do that. And Flash needs some villains here with Gorilla Grodd. He could have used that big buck they used on Kilowog maybe to make him, or being Reverse Flash was so hard to find. It would be nice to have a Flash villain you could actually get.
All right, so I will put my 2 cents in worth. I would like to see the Two-Face figure released as well. And as you said, the power action on the Toy Biz figure was ridiculous with a dime in his hand, an oversized dime. Booyah! $2 super chat from Mr. DJ Longhair. Hi, all, he says. Hi there, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, give him some likes and love on that. There you go, folks. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you. But yes, let's get a decent Two-Face, and yeah, I want him to have the orange and purple suit on, so that he looks like the Silver Age Two-Face. Penguin. If they do a Penguin, I don't want them to do a Penguin that looks exactly like the old Superpowers Penguin. Maybe a little different sculpt on that, and not quite so unwieldy fat. And
modernize them some.
Yeah, well, finally, Gorilla Grodd. If they were going to do that, they would have to use a Gorilla buck, and I think there's plenty of those around. We've seen them in the same size. You could probably buy a small King Kong figure and repaint him, or whatever. Even go over and check out what they have over in the cheapy aisle where the cheapy toys are. Get you a gorilla figure and paint a couple of white stripes down the side next to his ears, and you got Gorilla Grodd. I'm going to start talking. Here we go. Captain Cold, Mirror Master says Nightwing, and Heatwave 3-pack. That would be a good villain 3-pack, Nightwing. I agree. And Mr. DJ Longhair thanking me for babysitting him the other day. LOL. Yes, sir. I had a good time over there with you. We'll have to do that again sometime. I think he would like to have you on to discuss comics with him sometime there, Joneser. Somehow we'll have to get you guys to meet up on that. I was trying to tell you the other night, but I think you were too inebriated to catch it. But Joneser and I are both factory workers. There's that super chat coming up there from Gilster. Now give me a $2 super chat. A Wonder Twins 2-pack, would that be stupid? No, it would not. I would say a Wonder Twins 3-pack with both the Wonder Twins and Gleek, if they were going to do such a thing, and then that would I think it would sell. But back to what I was saying, we both are factory workers, and we get up at at like the wee hours of the morning, and we work all day long, and we get home tired off our ass, and we have to go to bed very, very early. And you tend to stream when we're sleeping, so we would have to work out some kind of way of doing this that doesn't conflict with our weekend shows and doesn't conflict with our sleep schedule during the week. So it's gonna be very interesting. It may be like me, just popping out of nowhere on your show Saturday morning, type of deal. But we'll have to get you guys to work together. Let me know if I can forward your email address to Jones, or that way you guys can talk. But back to what we were saying. So I'm sure that some enterprising individual looking at you, Jones, has already got some kind of a gorilla figure that he uses for his gorilla garage already, probably a Shylick figure or something like that.
Actually, no, I don't have a gorilla figure handy. So that was why you kind of got an honorable mention out of me on that. Plus I would have wanted one where he had the little mind control helmet on him, like would have been neat to see.
Like to art. There we go. All right, moving on down the line here. Let's get into the meat of things. I think the next one would be mine. Let me see if I can make that slide move forward. My honorable mentions are Catwoman, because we've been wanting a Catwoman figure in the Superpowers line since day one, and we were promised one that we never got. I hope you can put that Motu song to good use, Bill, says Mr. DJ Longhair. I am, but the one that you sent me was not the one we wanted. You drunkenly sent me the wrong version of that. So you'll have to send me the one that we said was the one we liked. George Valentine says, I have almost the entire drug and alcohol addiction set, just one Iron Man comic. Okay. That was a
I
good
suppose
run
it's
in
probably
Iron Man.
the one with him and the cover with the bottle
Yeah.
mask off, the expensive one probably.
Oh snap! I'll dump them all on you. I forget which one it won. Whoops. Okay, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Anyway, back to what we were saying here. Catwoman is an obvious one. Why isn't she in the list over there? Well, I know how McFarlane's mind works about female figures. Unfortunately, do I think any of these will ever be released? Well, the possibilities are there, but they're very, very slim, because Todd has been quoted, and I've seen video of him coming out of his pie hole, that female figures don't sell, so we don't do a lot of female figures.
He's probably not wrong. He's got the research in front of him.
But Supergirl and Batgirl are just obvious choices, because we've been wanting those forever as well. Will they be released? No. Are there more female figures in my want list? Yes, we'll get to that when we get to it. What are your thoughts on these, Jones?
The line could definitely use a woman's touch per se, and these are definitely some great choices. Catwoman especially would be topping my list. Like I'm going to say 100 times, a Batman heavy line should have some more Batman characters. But there are some female characters further ahead that I want more, and we'll be getting into those.
And I can already hear the people starting to gang up on us about what female characters that may not be in these lists as we go along. And if you see a character that we missed that is your favorite female character that didn't get into our list, please do get down into the chat or the comment section after this video is over with, and just tell us all about it. Just rail us if you want to. Nail us to the wall about it. Yeah, you're wrong. You should have done this character or that character or the other. We're trying to generate that kind of activity in the comment section.
Right, or even put your own top 10 list in the comment section after the video posts. That we would love to come back and read those comments and see your guys' own top 10 lists.
Nightwing saying he's lost our signal. Did you lose us, Nightwing? Y'all tell us if we're sounding okay, because we don't know. We hear each other just fine. Attorney in Ellipse says his honorable mention would be a villain 3-pack called The New Order, featuring Ursa, General Zod, and Non from the Superman movie.
That would be great. I would buy that.
If you go back to the old DC style guide, they have the characters from the Phantom Zone in that, which does include General Zod, but the non-character is not in there. There was a different character that wasn't a big hulking mute, and the woman character I think was named Theora. So I would think that if he did go in that direction, that he may or may not go Superman movie method. I think he would probably go more towards the old DC style guide. What do you think on that one, Jones?
I would prefer to see the old movie one because that's the one I grew up with, but I do think you're right.
We got Gojitron saying he will put his top 10 in the comments and it will be full of weirdos that no one else wants. And Nightwing.
Oh, I bet we got you covered in here.
Nightwing with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Nightwing. I appreciate that super chat, sir. And we do have some music and fun set up, and we will be taking a few breaks to play some of that while this is going on. And I think the Superpowers list is one that we would enjoy doing.
We paused pretty good for a second there. I hope we're still on.
I don't see the stream end over here, and I don't see anything spinning, so I don't know what happened.
That was a pretty hardcore pause.
Was it really?
Yeah. Hopefully we're all still okay.
All right. Well, I'm watching the super chat. The last thing I saw was a $2 super chat from Nightwing. Era, your YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, we're having some streaming problems.
You said we buffered and came back from Goji.
Okay.
We're having fun. Everybody have fun tonight. Because you're live. Anything can go wrong. That's right. That's why they like it live. They like all the messed up stuff and the going off the rails and us freaking buffering and max.
I mean, Figurative Speaking says we sound great. Music Fan 88 says he refreshed. Nightwing says always fun with you, Joneser. And of course, there's the Gojitron comment that we buffered and came back. Yeah, I've still got a streaming status poor message up here. Still got the
we're going to
still got that going. So there's not a lot I can do on this end. That I'm not sure. I think that's here we go. We're back in excellent condition now. Okay, so moving on. Yeah, we have gone through it. So Orlando Flores here with us. Okay, Nightwing gave me a $2 super chat. I don't know if you guys heard me shout that out, but I see that. We will be pausing in this. There it is right there. We will be pausing occasionally to do some music and fun, and I think I have the superheroes as one of our first breaks, so let's do that. Keep calm, carry on. Exactly, Gojitron, we shall. I don't know how much you missed on this when we talked about Catwoman, Supergirl, Batgirl, but you know Toddy don't like those female figures. I doubt we'll see these, but those would be my hopes. And yes, Goji already told us he's going to fill up the comments with his weird ideas, but everyone else do the same thing. Of course, you may agree with what we say here, and you may not, but we would love to nail us to the wall if you want to. We don't care. Okay, Joneser's number 10 is Bane.
Must break the Batman. Break you, Batman! Scream my name! I think this character is a no-brainer. He's popular among fans. Us 90s kids, this killed our childhood. I even have my childhood soul-crushing moment right there in the bottom left corner where the tears fell on the comic book as I read it. And Toddy Max already touched this character. You can see it there in the bottom right corner. This guy was big for my childhood, and I know the Superpowers line is usually more of a throwback line, but this would get some new blood in there, and he's done it before with Deathstroke. So I think Bane is likely. What's your thoughts on that, Bill?
I'll get to that in just a second. Let me get a little bit of chat here. George Valentine says he wants to see Cheetah, Etrigan the Demon, and Copperhead. Good choices, sir. Good choices. And thank you, Mr. DJ Longhair. Once I get a chance to get my email, I will download all of those and go through them. And I think that gets us caught. Number 10 for me would be Solomon Grundy, says Eternian Lips. Well, just hang tight there, brother. You might see something that interests you here shortly. Yes, a must, says Gilster 37. Back to Bane. I'm not a big fan of Bane like you are, but we could reuse that big buck from Kilowog and make a Bane out of him. So that would be a pretty good choice for a figure to reuse a mold. Oh yeah, I could see him doing something like that. And the fact that he did Gimp Batman of all things means that the possibility of a Bane is right up there. No problem, DJ Longhair. I'll shout you out all you want if and when I do get that made. Yeah, there he is right there. I've seen that. I've seen the body of that being used to make different customs that look pretty damn sharp. Okay, so let's go to the next slide here. And my number 10 pick is a female character, Zatanna. And you do not have her in the outfit here that I wanted to see her in, except the one riding that horse. Do I think that McFarlane will use that outfit? No, he will not. He will use the top hat and tails and fishnets version, of course, because he's Todd McFarlane.
Well, and I think the top hat and tails is the right choice, Bill, because that's her iconic look. If someone says Zatanna and I close my eyes, that's the one that comes to my mind right there.
And I understand why. But the reason that doesn't come to my mind is because I grew up on the satellite era Justice League, and she did not wear that outfit. She wore the one that she's wearing while she's riding that horse right there. But I think you are correct. If he does do one, it's going to be the one in the top hat and fishnet.
Now, Todd's been notorious for not giving us an accessory with any of these characters. I think maybe a Green Lantern battery and a Deathstroke sword's about all we got. Do you think he would throw in for a removable top hat and a magic wand so she could, do some magic? Or is that just
no? If the top hat is present at all, it will be molded onto the head, and you'll have to cut it off and make your own removable top hat. It will be more or less like that Justice League Unlimited figure that you see over there on the screen, which is what a lot of people are using in place of Zatanna in their superpowers line already. As far as magic wands go, no, but you can always take a toothpick and cut the points off of it and paint it black and then paint the ends white, and you got that. Or a cane.
I mean, they've more or less got the wand with Nightwing's stick here.
Yeah, and all you got to do is get one of them and paint it up. He could put that in there because he's done that. Would he? Well, that's up in the air, right?
Right. Well, or even if you saw this figure at all, is up in the air, and I think the likelihood of the Zatanna being produced is pretty nil.
I do too, but this is a wish list, folks, and as Dad used to say, wish in one hand and shit in the other one and see which one fills up. But we can wish. Let's go to the next slide here. Joneser's number 9 is Doomsday.
I think Doomsday is another one where I think they'd have to make a new buck for him, unfortunately, with all the pokies that Doomsday has. But I mean, Doomsday is a figure, I think, that especially for, again, us 90s kids, that this is another moment where the tear fell and hit the comic book page, and You know, I mean, this is an iconic moment. The Superman getting beaten to death. You know, here, and I feel like this would sell. This would do well, and Toddy Mack being the guy he is, I think this one's likely if he ponies up the money.
Well, the very fact that he released the Panic in the Sky version of Brainiac tells me that he would probably fall into this direction as well. And as you can see, like Joneser said earlier, there's methods to our madness on our picks on these. Joneser told me to pick my top 10 and honorable mentions, and he would work around me. So what you end up having here is you have a old school uh, curmudgeon, a grognard up here, if you will, who has decided that he wants to see the satellite era Justice League produced, and you have a younger gentleman down here at the bottom who has to pick things that I didn't pick, and he's going with the more uh, post-crisis era stuff that doesn't appeal to me as greatly as the Bronze Age stuff does to me. Do I have that correct there, Jones?
I think you do. Um, I had two. One, I had to pick my picks around you, and two, these are who I would really want to see in there, and also that I think would happen in the line or could happen in the line due to their popularity, or there'll be other reasons I'll touch on later with other characters.
Somehow we've broken Nightwing's heart. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to break your heart, man. George Valentine said Doomsday is a choice and has a special place in his heart, for he was living in Metropolis, Illinois at the time that man died. And Rickster wants to know who wins, Doomsday or Abomination. And you answered him, Jones, or you did a good answer too. That was
I
correct.
did, and the reason I say that, Rickster, even though I am a Hulk fan, I think Hulk and his villains and characters are a little lower down the power scale than Superman and Doomsday are. And I think that's just from the DC approach and the Marvel approach, whereas the Marvel characters are a little more dumbed down and the DC characters are a little more amped up. That's just my opinion.
Uh, and we have Attorney and Ellipse. Sir Clifton says he wants to see a Troticus, the Red Lantern.
Ooh,
Uh, that's a good choice and another big buck
that
figure.
is a
That,
good choice.
but so we'll pause here for a moment and we'll lean into what he says here. Would we've already seen the Yellow Lantern version of Sinestro released? Would you like to see more of the different colored lanterns?
You know, I keep saying this line's Batman heavy, but this line is also kind of lantern heavy. We've got a lot more lanterns than I thought we would, and more coming. And so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, and it would be nice to see more lantern villains other than just Sinestro. So yeah, I'm not against any of that.
And Nightwing says no. The broken hearts were from when Superman dies, and he's got a little sad icon with a snotty nose. Okay. And Gojitron says that he represents the Bronze Age with Bill. We stand for Bronze Age there, Gojitron. Thank you, sir. And what's George saying there? The freaking heart icon is covering that up where I can't see it. Doomsday
Doomsday was
was
made to kill pre or post crisis or pre crisis Superman. I
I
can't.
think he might have meant post crisis. Pre crisis Superman Doomsday would not have been able to touch him.
You know, I just want to touch on that Bronze Age comment there. Joneser grew up reading the 90s comics, and then when he got old, he grew up buying and collecting the Bronze Age comics.
And
So
Rickster, I will take your bait, sir, and answer your question because I know you already know the answer to it. Bronze Age? What does that even mean? It means comics produced from 1970 or possibly even 1968, but I'll go 1970. The introduction of the Fourth World stuff when Jack Kirby moved over, all the way into probably 1984, 5, and 6. The Crisis on Infinite Earths ended the Bronze Age.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Or I think it ends in Batman Year One. You know, like that's about when we transition.
Har, Rick. Okay, more like old age. Har.
That's actually was pretty good. I also liked when you called yourself a curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon and a grognard. Yeah, grognard is a D&D
Grognard.
term, but I think it works very well over here. Yeah, I'm a grognard when it comes to.
Grognard I've never heard before, but I love it. That's
Yeah,
my new favorite
it's a
word.
Dungeons and Dragons term. It means those guys that like to play the old school role playing games, play first edition D&D, and they have no use for anything like fifth edition at all. They call them grognards.
I love that word.
So what's my number one pick? My number one pick is the elongated man. And I can see the question marks falling out of Joneser's head. What in the hell and why? Well, and you'll see in a minute, Joneser probably would like to see a different character. The elongated man was part of the satellite era Justice League once again, and we've already got a Plastic Man figure in the original vintage line. Let's have somebody else, and let's also make a buck that got some stretching action in it. And I'm almost to the point where I want one that'll actually do like old Stretch Armstrong. You can actually stretch them out and they come back down, have an action feature. Will that happen? Oh, hell no, it's not going to happen. This is a wish list, folks, but hell. I would love to see him. I would also like to see his nose out like this right here where it can wiggle like that because Elongated Man is not Plastic Man, and the two characters are totally different from one another. First of all, Elongated Man is more like Mr. Fantastic. He's got stretching powers, and that's about it. He drinks the Gingo juice that makes him able to stretch. He is also almost Batman level detective. Not quite Batman level, but he is a detective, and he is a more serious character than Plastic Man. So, he did a lot of detective work, and when he was sleuthing, his nose would wiggle when he would get, Tiffany. You remember that about him, or did you even know about that?
I very briefly know this character. I think most of my exposure to him was probably in the Batman the Brave and the Bold cartoon where he showed up a few times. I like the choice, Bill. I also like your reasons for the choice, but yeah, this guy wouldn't have cracked my top 50. Um, he's just to me is not a character that I was big on, and there's another stretchy man that I like a lot better. Two of them even.
Dale St. John says, "Why don't they stretch like Stretch Armstrong?" I always said that if they redo Plastic Man, they ought to make him stretch like Stretch Armstrong. But Plastic Man can actually mold himself into different objects. It's almost a shape changer in that form. Elongated Man is not able to do that at all. Plastic Man is a more cartoony character, and I think he's also brain damaged from the chemicals that made him what he is. So he sees the whole world as a cartoon anyway.
He's a bit of a goofball, but that's kind of why I like him. He
He's
might
also
show
the
up
most
later.
powerful character in the whole DC universe, too.
And one of the more morally corruptible ones in some versions of him.
And Daniel St. John agrees with me about making these stretchy characters stretch like Stretch Armstrong. Nightwing says Plastic Man was a bad guy when he started off. Yes, he was a villain, but after he became Plastic Man, he became a good guy. Rickster says, I was never into comics much. I was more into the EC Tales from the Crypt and Weird Science or Weird Tales. My bronze question was legitimate. You made me sound like a mentally challenged person. I thought you were fucking with me, man. I really did. I didn't mean to make it sound like that. I'm here to be learned. Well, I'll learn you if you want to, but you got to take the learnings. There's different ways of teaching. We talked about that before, Jones. Or some folks you have the drill sergeant method, and some folks have the hold your hand method, and both are legitimate. But I think both are necessary as well. What do you think, Jones?
I think you got to know who to apply what to. There are some people that you yell at them and you get at them and they become stronger. There are other people you yell at them, you get at them, and they become smaller.
Yeah,
You
that's
have to know
true.
who you're dealing with.
All right, so that's my number one pick. Number 9 pick was the elongated man. What do we got? Joneser's number 8 pick is going to be Cyborg.
Now, I had a few reasons for picking this one. First and foremost, this is the hard figure to get from the original line, and I thought this would give fans a chance to get him. Um, Now, I could go either way on this. If they're doing it for that reason, then he should have a classic look where they wouldn't change much about him. But being this is the new Toddy Mac, they messed with Darkseid, they've messed with Aquaman. They'll probably mess with him and modernize him too. But I still think this would be a cool figure to have. He's been featured in the newer Justice League movie. He's a Teen Titan. It'd be nice to see some Teen Titan characters get in there. Um, those are my reasons. But the main reason I wanted to see him was being that the original figure is way out of price range for most. This might be your only way to get him.
I agree with you, Joneser, and I also agree with your thoughts on what he would look like. I do not think that he would look anything like, and you see the figure there on the card of the old figure. I think he would look more like the one under the Rebirth there, or closer to the what was released in the Justice League movie that Zack Snyder did, or even maybe even closer to the one from Teen Titans up there, something like that. But I think it would be more like the what you see in the comics right now, and and we have already seen him do that when he released Darkseid, right?
Yes.
And so that's what we got going on there with Cyborg. The question I have for you, Joneser, is if they do a Cyborg, do you think he's going to have hand attachments like the original version did, or not?
He'll sell those separately, knowing Toddy Mac.
Sell them separately, or not even sell them at all is what I
Or
think.
not at all.
Sir Clifton says his number 8 pick would be Martian Manhunter. He would like to see that figure come out again, and I think it could be done if it was, but it wouldn't look like the original figure.
I'm really liking Cliffy's picks. I'm enjoying that. He's going in a different direction with the last one than I thought, but we've agreed more than we haven't so far, even though he doesn't know it yet.
That's true. Uh, Moving on down the chat line here, Nightwing says that Cyborg is 100% better than Iron Man to him. Okay. Uh, George Valentine says the Ultra Humanite would be interesting, or Man Bat. But going back to Ultra Humanite, well, that would be a no brainer if he releases Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, the Man Bat would be fun.
And Man Bat would be fun, but Ultra Humanite has a gorilla body, so, or at least the version that is most in the top of most people's minds, I would think, would be the white 8 Ultra Humanite look. So we could reuse the buck from Gorilla Grodd or vice versa if those two figures ever came to the line.
Right. Yeah, if they did a Gorilla Grodd, then yeah, that would work.
And Daniel St. John says he wants the classic Cyborg look just like the Superpowers one, and I understand why, because this figure carded probably goes for well over $1,000 now. An uncarded version of this can be $800 to $900, and that is with intact accessories and without the chipped up paint. And don't even get me started about how much it would cost if you get one of these solid back metal one from Lily Letty or one of the other south of the border there countries that were doing figures at that time. Those things are way too expensive.
Yep, and that's why he made my list, because I felt a lot of fans want for this and couldn't get it, and still can't get it.
Here goes Gojitron. He's got a good one here. A Gorilla 3-pack with Gorilla Grodd, the Ultra Humanite, and Monsieur Mala from the Teen Titans era, and also Doom Patrol. That would be a good 3-pack, 3 gorillas in 1 pack.
I would buy it.
Bizarro with part translucent heads and hands. We've already been
Interesting
teased.
choice.
We've already been teased a Bizarro figure, so I think we are going to get a Bizarro.
Yeah, so we didn't include anybody that's been teased. So Bizarro and Riddler will not be on the list because we've already seen that they're coming.
That's correct. And I think if you do get the Bizarro, he's going to be more Super Frenzy looking Bizarro anyway, the Legion of Doomy looking Bizarro. I'm hoping that they
Me and
don't color
Bizarro.
his costume purple.
Me am Bizarro. Me no be you version of Bizarro. Me be am Toddy Mac version of Bizarro. Me be most negative, bestest hero villain ever.
Right. Thank you, Bizarro. Say everything backwards. Me am worst hero ever.
I actually like the one from the Superboy show, but that's just me.
And Gilster says he didn't know. And Nightwing says the Riddler. Yeah, we've been teased Bizarro and Riddler, so we didn't put them on our list. Now, here's my number 8 pick. If we're going to have villains for each one of our main characters, then Wonder Woman needs her villain as well, and that would be Cheetah. She's the number one Wonder Woman villain in my mind, and she's also a member of the Legion of Doom. And what we have here is we have the Golden Age Cheetah, who was the Cheetah that we saw in the Legion of Doom. We also have the style guide version of the Cheetah, who was the Cheetah at the time, and a figure there looks like a statue, probably overpriced statue of said character. So what version do I want? I want the Golden Age version that we saw in the Legion of Doom because we need to have the Legion of Doom in the in the line. What will Toddy Mac do? He will either do that version that you see over there of Cheetah from the style guide, or he will do one that's more animalistic, like you see nowadays.
I like the one in the bottom right corner, and I'm going to tell you why. I think this hits all of those markers a little bit. It has a human look to it, but she still is very animalistic looking too, with the teeth and the claws. And you have that outfit that's kind of reminds you of the Golden Age version. And I think that that would be the best way to go because you would check all the boxes at once there, and you would have a cheetah in the line. Because I agree with you, Bill. Wonder Woman needs a villain. If not her, then maybe Ares or somebody. And yes, that's the version I think they should go with. Is more that one in that bottom right corner because again, you got it rubs all of those lanterns all at the same time.
I think if Toddy Mac were going to do the figure, you would probably be correct there, Joneser. However, Daniel St. John agrees with me. Wonder Woman needs a villain, and Cheetah would be just right, and the Legion of Doom version would be great. We need that play out there to get the Legion of Doom. And Nightwing agrees he wants the challenge of the Super Friends version. And as you can see, a customizer in it, that work looks very, very familiar. That's either RB's Customs or that is Toy Otter, but I want to say RB, and or maybe Javier Garcia. That could be Javier Garcia's work there. But that's what I want it to look like. Is right up there in that upper right corner there. See the perfect superpowers version of Cheetah. And as you can see, she has the wrong colored spots, just like she did in the cartoon. And they are only on her lower legs and her upper body and on her cowl.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with either version. I'd be happy to have the figure at all, no matter what version of it he did. But I mean, if I got to have my wish, it would be like I previously stated.
And that would probably be the direction that Toddy would go in if he were to do this. And George Valentine says now he wants a Star Sapphire to counter Hal Jordan. Yeah, good luck with that one. I would love to see that figure too, but you'd be better off hitting up RB's Customs and getting you a kit and putting one together. You have to paint it though, but there are those who will do that for a nominal fee as well. Let's go to the next pick here, and that would be Joneser's number 7, Green Arrow.
I thought this one was kind of a no-brainer as well. He's a popular character, especially when they had that hit show on the CW. It really breathed new life into this character. In fact, a lot of people didn't even know who Green Arrow was in the mainstream audience until they saw that show. Um, I think he's a core member of the Justice League, what have you. He'd be a great character. I'd be palling him around with my Green Lantern. I would love to see this for all of the reasons I just stated.
What would he look like? Would he look like the Bronze Age version that we see there? Would he be a clean shaven Silver Age version, or would he be more like the Longbow Hunters, which was pretty much the same thing that we saw in the CW series minus the beard?
I like the one that's right there on the card. I think that's him. I like the bearded mustachioed one with the domino mask and the Robin Hood hat, just like that.
And I'm with Gojitron. I think if Todd's going to do him, it's going to be the Longbow Hunters version, which is basically the version from CW, but he will have his goatee and mustache.
I'd be happy to have one no matter what version, but like I said, if I got to pick, I'd want the one there.
And let's see what mine is here. I'm wanting another Legion of Doom villain and also a Batman villain, and that would be Scarecrow. And once again, Joneser wanted to know what version that I was partial to, and that be Legion of Doom. I'm going with Legion of Doom / Satellite Era Justice League. So for the heroes, we're getting Satellite Era Justice League out of me. For villains, we're going to complete the Legion of Doom. That's my wish. And the Scarecrow being a Batman villain and being in the Legion of Doom fills uh, both of those.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. I do think this is one that we need to get, and I do think of the Batman heavy line. We need more Batman villains, Batman, 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 and more Batman. But as far as the character design, I'm sorry. I think that Scarecrow design from that time is just atrocious. I think it's dated. I think it's just terrible. I preferred them to modern him up a little bit. And I mean, like the one there right under his name is truly frightening looking, and that's a scary scarecrow. Whereas the other guy, and I get the nostalgia reasons why, and I wouldn't be opposed to having a nostalgic throwback one, but that this looks like a bad Halloween prop to me. The modern scarecrow is truly frightening, like out of a horror movie, and that's what I would prefer to see. But that's just me ruining your fun.
Not ruining my fun, and you're probably not wrong about what Todd would pick if he were to do one. It would probably be a lot more gruesome looking than the Scarecrow from Legion of Doom. But I'm just partial to the Legion of Doom, wanting them to look like they looked in that cartoon. Now, Daniel St. John agrees with you about Green Arrow. He's lost the bow, the string, and the arrows like all the rest of us did when we were kids. And he would want the same classic card, and he would also like a Speedy figure to go with it. Yes, Blue Sasquatch, we're absolutely live, sir. And George Valentine's kind of partial to the Scarecrow we saw in Batman the Animated Series. Eternity Ellipse says his number 7 choice is Poison Ivy. And you agreed with him on that one. Another great pick, yes. I'm wanting to go Legion of Doom, which is why I didn't pick Poison Ivy. I think that figure was destined for the line originally. If they had done Catwoman, they probably would have done her as well, because she was on a lot of the promotional art back in those days. And I'm going to wrap this up just in just a second, but going back to what we said before about the scarecrow here, I'm with you there, Joneser. I understand that the way Todd's brain works, he probably would do a scarier scarecrow. But what do you think about the Batman animated series scarecrow? Which I would go along with that. That's close enough to put in a
I
superpower.
like that. I like that. That's a great idea because that kind of scratches both itches. Like it's very reminiscent of the Golden Age Scarecrow, and it also has some of those scary features. I would even say the one in the top left kind of does the same thing there.
Yeah,
It's very close to the Golden Age look, and it also has that kind of spookier look to them.
agreed. And as far as Poison Ivy goes, if you got any of the old Batman animated series Kenner figures from back in the day, there was a perfectly good Poison Ivy that can placehold for you if you never see Poison Ivy. Susudio says Mr. Freeze. And George Valentine would like to see a Mr. Freeze too. Here's the thing. Mr. Freeze was already released in the original line, but he was the goofy Mr. Freeze in the funny outfit that didn't make a lot of sense, and they actually made fun of him in the comic book before he got serious, and that happened with Batman the Animated Series. So you can see if you
Right.
agree with this or not, Jones. Or I think that if a Mister Freeze was re-released in the modern line, it would be more along the lines of what we saw in Batman the Animated Series.
Well, they should, because I mean, before that, he was the goofy guy from Batman '66 that had the red lights for the henchmen, and he was terrible. One of my favorite comics growing up, because I didn't understand the hate Mister Freeze got amongst the DC villains until he later got serious. There was a moment where Joker's henchmen ran off on him to go with Mister Freeze, and Joker had that great, "You guys left me to work for some Captain Cold wannabe." I loved that line. It's a kid that was just funny as heck to me.
Let's before we move on, we'll go off the rails here for a minute. One on Mister Freeze. Mister Freeze was originally Mister Zero when he was released back in the day, and he didn't go anywhere.
Doctor Zero? Was
Mister
it Doctor
Zero,
Zero or was it Mr. Zero?
Mister
Mr. Zero?
Zero, or yeah, Mister Zero, and it didn't go over very well, and he was a one shot thing. Why did Mister Freeze come back to light? It was all because of the '66 Batman series where he showed back up in that, and then of course we had the Batman cartoon series from the '60s that had Olin Soleil as Batman and Casey Kasem as Robin. No, it wasn't Casey Kasem, but it was Olin Soleil did play the voice of Batman in that. However, Mr. Freeze was in those, and he was pun spouting all kinds of cool, horrible puns. And then when they did the New Adventures of Batman, which reused a lot of the same animation cells, they did it in the same way. And then we had Mr. Freeze in the horrible Batman movie with who was it? Was it George Clooney? Oh, that was awful. Gilster wants to see a Green Hornet and Kato. You'll see those in one of Toyota's lines like Power Stars or Long Box. I'm hearing a echo going there, Jones. Or get your, turn your sound down. Sound down. Hello in headlocks. Good to see you. Screw your feelings. George Valentine says, "How about some oddballs like Condiment Man or Polka Dot Man? That'd be interesting. Considering that we've seen those Clock King, some of that kind of stuff from the Justice League comics." Ooh, says George Valentine. Abracadabra says Blue Sasquatch. Killer Moth. There you go, Joneser. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Killer Moth. Yes, says Gojatron. Clooney was Batman and Arnold was Freeze. That's correct, honor you, 83. All right, let me get this slide moving. You can comment on all of that if you want to, Jones.
Well, I love the knowledge of the chat here, naming the obscure DC villains. I'd like to throw one out there. The Gentleman's Ghost was another fun one from the old days.
How would that even be made? That would be an interesting. I've seen customs done of that look pretty damn good. I'll throw another one at you, Clue Master.
There you go.
Or how about
Another
the
fun one.
key? What's the key? He had the key looking headdress. These idiot. Well, at the time they were done in Justice League in the Silver Age, they weren't as idiotic as they turned out to be later when they showed back up in the Justice League International days. The
But
Royal
yeah,
Flush
I'd love
Gang.
to see these. Calendar Man, another good one. I'd love to see these obscure ones, but to be honest with you, when we're struggling to get figures like Lex Luthor and the Joker made, I think these obscure ones have no prayer.
And the JLU version of Gentleman Ghost did look pretty good, Goji, in that line of figures. You're correct. And the Royal Flush Gang, how would you even get away with that? Because now you would have to have what a 5-pack, so you could get Ace and King and the Queen and the Jack and 10. And one of them was always a robot. I want to say it was the Ace. Martian Manhunter, says Joneser.
Yeah, I think the popularity of this character, when they did the Bruce Timm Justice League, uh, and the fact that he was in the original line, he's you know, very well known Justice League member. I think this character is a no brainer, and I do think we are going to see one at some point. But that didn't stop for me for wanting for one, so he made my list.
What do you think he's going to look like if he does get made?
I think it'll probably be more reminiscent of the top left corner, because that's the more recent popular version.
I think you're correct. I think his colorations will match what we see in the comics as well. It will not be a classic Bronze Age and Silver Age, because Martian Manhunter was the character that ushered in the Silver Age. When he first appeared, that was the beginning of the Silver Age. I'm going to read off some of this chat real quick. A 6-inch DCU Gentleman Ghost Hawkman's villain has been made. And George Valentine wants mad scientist Lex Luthor. And Gojitron with some interesting characters here. Dr. Phosphorus and the Calculator. And if they do Dr. Phosphorus, I want him not only to be translucent, I want him to glow in the dark, and I want him to look just like he looked when he appeared back in the 70s.
I actually just acquired the first appearance of Dr. Phosphorus. I have that book.
I have a Batman book with this with Dr. Phosphorus in it, and it's him and Batgirl.
Yeah, I think the first appearance is still somewhat affordable at the moment, but I do think there is something in development that is going to feature him if it's not already out. And I do believe there's some upside to that book if y'all want to buy it now cheap and sell it later.
Gilster37 said Swamp Thing and Constantine he would like to see in the line. Yeah, Swamp Thing would be easy to do. Constantine, I don't think Todd McFarlane is going to do any people, just regular people characters. Calabac is number 6 pick for Sir Clifton. Good choice there, sir. Now St. John says, I want the Superpowers Classic Manhunter, just like the classic Superpowers figure. Some are wanting that elongated head. Well, if Todd does him, he's going to look more modern, I'm afraid. Was it Walt Simonson that drew Dr. Phosphorus Jones, or that's a you question, not me question?
I believe he is absolutely correct. It was in the mid 70s there, and I do believe that is the man. I could pull the book out here when we go on break to confirm.
And Cliffy is coming up with some good picks there. And Cliffy's leaning towards figures that have already been released in the original line but need to be updated a little bit. If you were to do a Calabac figure, I think he should be in the green version that looked more like what Kirby drew originally instead of the redesign. George Valentine's wanting a red tornado. Go ahead.
I completely agree with what you just said there. And I think Cliffy's right on with his picks. I easily could go for every one of those that he'd said.
All right, let me see what my pick would be here. My pick is Toy Man. And Joneser knows exactly which one that I wanted to get, but he put a mix in here of other things as well. So first of all, Toy Man is a Superman villain, but he's also in the Legion of Doom. Doom. Now look down here at the bottom, and you see Mr. Benjamin Franklin looking toy maker with that goofy looking wig and that outfit bouncing on a pogo stick. No, Todd McFarlane would never release this version, and I do not want to see this version in the line. If you want this version of Toy Man, go to RB's Customs and get you a kit and make it yourself, but you're not going to see it in this line. Once again, we have Creepy Toy Man from the Superman animated series up here in the corner. That was basically a guy in a doll costume who was a PDF file. He liked the little kitties and he was after them, and he was a kidnapper and all that kind of stuff. Do I think that version would be the version that Toddy would do? No. And that's not the one I want either. I want our good old funny looking, jester looking toy maker, toy man.
I agree with your choice and the reason for it. I do think like we've used the word toyetic before.
Yes.
That is definitely among these choices the more toyetic figure. That's also going to be the one that's going to fit the superpowers theme the best. Uh, However, my favorite version of it was the creepy Howdy Doody doll one
Yeah.
because that's the one I grew up with.
Koji
But
agrees with you. The animated toy man is creepier. Richter has a ventriloquist doll that looks like the creepy old toy man up there at the top. Yeah, the take on the toy man from the DC animated cartoon was a new take on him, and I liked it. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. But is it toyetic? No, it's not. The Jester toy man is the toyetic version of something that someone will want to play with superpowers, and it fills the bill of fleshing out the Legion of Doom.
yeah, I 100% agree with you. And I just had to throw in the creepy Superman comic from my childhood that I remember him from, where he's more of the psychopathic killer type character. And that was a very psychological story and very fun, but again, has nothing to do with a action figure toy. But I just wanted to include all the different coats of paint that this character had received. But I do agree with which version you want and for what reasons.
Yeah, when Toyman came back in the '90s, he had lost his freaking mind in prison, and he became what you see there. And they were trying to make it more edgy at that point. I remember when John Byrne took over the line, he reintroduced us to characters like Toyman and Prankster in uh, the Superman comics that he was doing at the time. And I cannot stand the Prankster. I'm sorry, folks. I hope they never ever do a figure of Prankster. But Toyman, on the other hand, I could see them doing this version here. And George Valentine says he was more fun as a jester, right? Uh, Get in the chat real quick before we move to the next slide. Hyperdelic says he just picked up the first edition of Superman versus Lobo. He loves the art, and Lobo is one of the best things in the DC comics. There we go. And moving on to the next slide here. Joneser's number 5 pick is the Plastic Man. Take it away there, Joneser.
Well, again, I for the same reasons that I picked Cyborg earlier. Plastic Man's another one of those figures from the classic line that's kind of a harder one to get, and especially at a decent price. Um, and honestly, this might rub Bill wrong a little bit, but I think he's definitely the more popular and funner of the stretchy characters. And it's Plastic Man. I remember watching that cartoon as a kid, and this guy just tickles my funny bone. I really thought he was portrayed well in the Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And he's just a fun character. I mean, you could even do him as a vehicle and have him with a car or something. Or I would love it if they included his little sidekick. But unfortunately, it's Toddy Mack. We'll be lucky to see this character at all. But yeah, he's this is my guy. I love Plastic Man. He's just too much fun.
All right, so I've got a question, and I'll leave it to the end, but I'll expound a little bit. As you can see what the figure looked like back in the day when he was released, he had this pop-up neck feature, and he was taller than all the rest because he was stretching out. I don't know. I like Plastic Man. I liked his cartoon show back in the day. He had a cameo in the first season of Super Friends where he came in and got the little mouse out of the computer because he could stretch his hand down in there and get to him. Uh, it's an interesting character. So one of the reasons why I didn't pick him was because he was already been released in the vintage line, and I'm after that satellite era Justice League, and he was never part of that. Uh, but here's the question for you: if they were to re-release Plastic Man in this new line, what would he look like? Would he have any stretchy features at all? And would he have any kind of action feature or accessory? He would not have woozy winks at all. Thank you. Go ahead, Jones.
Well, and that's just the problem. Like you said before, this was a wish list. If they're going to keep the price point on these figures to $10, there's no way they could do any kind of action feature with him. And we'd be lucky if we got the stretchy head and that was it. It'd be nice if we could see, like stretchy arms, stretchy legs, and your Stretch Armstrong type figure to him, or even if he came pre-long armed and long legged. I don't know. I just, again, like I said, it's a wish list, and this was a character that I would like to see there, and also for that added rub of folks that were collecting the original line that didn't get this guy.
All right, let me get in the chat here. Rickster can relate to Toy Man, and he thinks that Jim Carrey could have played Plastic Man. Well, we already seen what he could do in The Mask.
That would have been gold. If they could have done that prime Jim Carrey, that would have been gold.
Yeah, he's too old to do that shit now, I think. But yeah, back when he was doing The Mask, yeah, that would have worked perfectly. Sir Cliffy's number 5 pick is Shazam because we can't use Captain Marvel. However, Screw Your Feelings says that he heard that they're going to call Shazam the captain now to take care of that name power situation. I could go with that. I don't know. We'll see. Daniel St. John says Plastic Man's fine, but where is Woozy Winks? Yeah. Jones touched on that. He wanted a Woozy Winks figure to go with Plastic Man. That's not gonna. George Valentine wants the question. And Bill, did you like the bendy JLA Plastic Man from the 90s? If they did a bendy version of Elongated Man or Plastic Man, so in other words, they have all the articulation, or maybe not even any articulation, they don't need it. They're just a bendy character that's at the same size of these, where you can bend them around and make them do all sorts of crap. Like that would be a great feature. Plastic Man bendy figures. That's Hyperdelic. What do you think there, Joneser?
I think that would be the way to do it if they do it at all.
Yeah, there you go. So it's a chat over here. Gojitron thinking outside the box there and giving some great ideas. Thank you there, Gojitron. So that's Joneser's number 5 pick is Plastic Man. Mine is the Black Canary. And the Black Canary I want is going to be the fishnets with the leather outfit and the little leather jacket, the little one that comes up to right here, the little cut off leather jacket. Yeah, that's what I want. And not the one that we saw in the Justice League International or whatever with that funky costume that I don't know. We got to make her look like she did in the satellite era. I've heard some folks and I saw some folks in the chat talking Black Canary. I wasn't ignoring you. I knew I already had picked this for my number 5. Go ahead, Joneser.
Oh, I was just listening, but yeah, I think she would be great. She'd go right along good with my Green Arrow figure that I got coming.
That's that,
So
and that's
those
the
two
other
got to be
thing.
together.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We got to have Green Arrow's girlfriend in there, and we gotta fill out that satellite area. And the middle picture that you see there is the Golden Age Black Canary that was in the Justice Society of America. And the here's a cool fact there that you guys may not have known this. But back in the day when there were two separate Earths, Earth 2 and Earth 1, Earth 1 being our modern Bronze Age heroes in the Justice League, and Earth 2 being those heroes who fought in World War II and had formed the Justice Society of America. The Black Canary from Justice Society of America is the mother of the Black Canary that came over to Earth 1 during a Justice League crisis issue of Justice League Comics, Justice League of America Comics, and decided to stay there because she had fallen in love with the Green Arrow. Did you know that, Joneser?
I did not. I like that story. That really works. Be honest with you, for me, if they were to do this figure, I'm gonna want the one that you weren't crazy about, and that was the look she had in Justice League Unlimited. That's my Black Canary for me.
No,
But
no, 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 no,
I'd
no,
be
no, no,
happy
no,
to.
no, 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 no. You got me wrong there, Joneser. Justice League Unlimited version of Black Canary is close enough to the other one to where I would go for it. I'm talking
Oh, okay.
about the McGuire era Wahaha Justice League comics with that funky outfit with the puffy sleeves and the
I have
canary
no
thing
idea
that kind
which.
of come out. Guys, you guys in the chat know should know what I'm talking about. Gojitron, I know
Yeah,
does.
I have no idea what you're talking about with that one. But
I'll
that the
I'll
one
I'll
that I
show
was.
I'll show you in the after show that you and I always do when we chat together, and you will be
Sure,
like,
but
you're right, Bill. That wouldn't work. Uh
that would be the one that I would want, is the fishnet one from the Justice League Unlimited, or even how she looked in Batman the Brave and the Bold. That to me is the Black Canary figure, but I think it's highly unlikely that we will see this figure, unfortunately.
right, because of Todd's aversion to doing female action figures. Getting to the chat here, Samuel St. John says, "Wonderful pick, Bill, and I want her a lot." And I like the Golden Age version that you see there in that bottom middle picture. Um, so yeah, and he also says the JSA. So we've been teased some JSA figures that are going to be in a 3-pack with Starman, Alan Scott, the original Golden Age Green Lantern, and one other figure that's escaping me right now. But Daniel St. John says Starman. Thank you, Daniel St. John. Yes, the JSA Black Canary to go with our other JSA figures like the Green Lantern, Hour Man, and Starman. So Hour Man, Starman, and Alan Scott Green Lantern are going to be in a 3-pack. So yeah.
Oh, well, then maybe Black Canary will get some wings after all, because if they're doing that, then yes, she'd be what's missing.
Uh, that would make it easier for Todd to reuse the Wonder Woman bucking with just a little bit of retooling. But do I think it's going to happen? I'm still with Joneser on that one. No, because of Todd's aversion. So the only female figures that we'll ever see in the line for reals is going to be Wonder Woman.
I hope you're wrong, but
I
I
do
don't
too.
think you are.
Just because I'm a pessimist doesn't mean
Actually,
I
I know
want
you're
the
wrong.
bad thing
I'm
to
going to double
happen.
down on that. I'm going to double down on that. I know you're wrong. I know one that's coming. It's going to happen, and it's my next pick, I think.
The eternal optimist below me, the eternal pessimist above him. Just because I'm a pessimist doesn't mean I want the bad thing to happen.
Right.
Understand how pessimism works. A
Oh, I get it.
pessimist, a pessimist is never disappointed, but he's always occasionally gets a happy a happiness when he's wrong.
I'm going to
Whereas
completely disagree with
an
that.
optimist is disappointed far more often than a pessimist.
I'm going to completely disagree with that. The pessimist is disappointed throughout his whole life.
No,
He's choosing to stay that way.
occasionally he's proven wrong, and he has a happy because what he thought was going to happen didn't happen. So if I think that the worst is going to happen and the worst doesn't happen, that makes me happy because the worst didn't happen. But if the worst does happen, I'm not disappointed because I already had prepared for that.
I'm gonna call it a self-fulfilling prophecy. You believed the worst was gonna happen, and it happened.
Do you think I'm going to make it happen? Okay.
By the will of nature.
Gilster says Nightwing with a 70s collar, a yellow stripe, but we won't get that, but we might get it because McFarlane does crap like that. Well, there's a buck coming out called what? Booster Gold, who has the collar. So they could repaint that and put a different head on it, Nightwing head, and stick it on that buck, and you got your Nightwing figure with the collar on it from the 1970s already made. And I think I've gone over this before. We're talking about Nightwing. Nightwing, the reason that Dick Grayson chose that funky looking outfit and that name was because he was already aware that Superman and Jimmy Olsen had been shrunk down to the size to get into the bottle city of Kandor. And while they were there, they came up with superheroes called Nightwing and Flamebird, Superman being Nightwing and Jimmy Olsen being Flamebird, a takeoff of Batman and Robin. So that outfit, that funky outfit with the high collar and the funky looking stripes and stuff on it, was actually a Kryptonian outfit that Nightwing, Superman wore as Nightwing in the Ball City store. And Dick knew this, Robin knew this, and that's why he picked that costume and that character name. Did you know that, Jones, or had I already told you that?
I did not know that.
Joneser's number 4 pick is Harley Quinn. Take it away there, Joneser.
This is going to be the other female character that's going to come out. The popularity of Harley Quinn cannot be denied, whether you like this character, hate this character, are sick of seeing this character. It doesn't matter. Harley Quinn's money, Harley Quinn sells. They're going to produce this figure in the Superpowers line. I will take bets. If they do, I would love to see the more classic Jester look that we saw in the Batman the Animated Series. But there's a lot of modern looks to Harley Quinn nowadays. She's even dabbled being a superhero rather than a supervillain lately. But I do think, on second guess, when Bill was saying Wonder Woman will be the only female figure done, no, sir. This one's going to happen because this is money.
If they're going to do a female character in this line, this is the character that they would do, and that's right up his alley. And like you, if he were to do it, I would hope he would do the version that we see there from Batman animated series, where she first appeared. She became a breakout character. She was meant to be a one-off character in that animated series, and she broke out so big that she carried over and into the comic books. And I would like to see that classic look to her that she had when she first showed up in the comics, and the way she looked in Batman animated series. And Toddy would be a fool not to create this female book, because if you do it with the Harlequin outfit, you have a blank female book that you could use for any other female characters. I'm looking at you, Black Canary.
Yes, that she could be the one that gets the others built. I didn't even think of that, Bill. That's an amazing point. She could be the brick to lay down the foundation of the rest of it. But yeah, this character is just too popular. It sells itself. I mean, I can't hardly keep a Harley Quinn comic in my collection to take to the shows because every time people pick them out and buy them. She's popular. People like
Absolutely.
her.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to run through this chat real quick and take a commercial break, if you don't mind, Jones, before we get to my number 4 pick. Catching up with the chat here. Sir Clifton wants the number 4 on his list is a Watchman 3-pack with Night Owl, Rorschach, and Silk Spectre. Well, once again, that's a very good pick, and I like the idea, But I already know Alan Moore ain't going for that shit, and it's probably not going to happen. And if it does, it's going to happen against his wishes, and he's going to have a fucking fit because he's already lost his mind. Moving on
He
down.
had a mind?
He ever had a mind. Well, it was better, but he's not as bad as Frank Miller, but he was better off back in the day than he is nowadays. He's worse. But he's not as bad as Frank Miller. Frank Miller completely lost all of his mark. Let me get down this list because I gotta take this commercial break here in a second. Gojutron says he's not sick of the character. He's just sick of the 500 Harley Quinn cosplayers at every convention he's ever been to. Yeah, I get that. And George Valentine says as a character they have run her to death, but the thing is she's so popular that they can't not, right?
She's money. She's like Batman. If you go to the comic store and you look at the DC aisle, it's half Batman and half Harley Quinn.
Gilster 37, even Corny named his dog Harley Quinn, Jim Cornette there. George Valentine would like a full tick set. Well, if you're talking is it Long Box Heroes or Power Stars? I want to say Power Stars tick. We are going to get Arthur to go with that. I would like to see American Made and Batman Well or whatever his name was, Deflator Mouse. We'll see.
Deflator Mouse.
Alan Moore has got no say on DC owns the Watchmen. You're correct, Gojutron, but at one time they were following his wishes. I think they finally broke his wishes when they did the follow-up series to Watchmen that went nowhere and did that television series that was awful. And I think they actually did do some DC Direct figures from the Watchmen line. Am I correct there, Joneser?
I'm assuming so, but I would say if they would have followed his wishes and just left it alone, I think we'd all be better off. The movie was a treasure.
Yeah,
but I think after the movie, I think we just needed to stop.
All right, I am going to set us up a commercial break real quick. I know all of us need a little break. It's already 11:30 and we're still on number 4, and we'll come back and see my version of number 4 after these messages.
And now these messages. Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers Collection. Impossible. The Hall of Justice under attack. Batman behind bars. New from Kenner's Superpowers Collection. Hall of Justice playset. Some assembly required. Vehicles and figures sold separately.
Who's the trapdoor, Batman?
Brainiac's taken over the computer. Joker in the elevator. Evil forces joining for a final assault. Who can restore order?
Superman!
Can Superman save the Hall of Justice? You decide.
Behind its wall of beautiful teeth, Toothopolis is under constant siege by the Cavity Creeps.
We make Hulking teeth!
Cresty, look! Crest team, the Cavity Creeps are coming!
We'll fight them with Crest's fluoride.
That Crest!
Yay! Crest! Watch treats, see your dentist, and fight the Cavity Creeps like the Crest team.
Fight cavities with Crest!
This toy comes with something that can really open up a kid's imagination. Its own legend.
He-Man! Skeletor is his enemy.
It's the Masters of the Universe collection. And for my kids, the legend begins here with Castle Grayskull.
It holds the powers of the universe.
He-Man, Skeletor has captured Castle Grayskull.
We must stop his evil power. To Grayskull!
Defeat He-Man's forces, but leave him to me.
Here I am, Skeletor.
He-Man! Skeletor is getting away!
But Castle Grayskull is safe with us.
Nothing's safe while Skeletor is out there.
And so the legend continues in this Masters of the Universe collection. And in the imagination of my kids. Look for it. It's new from Mattel.
Here are a few words about Levi's jeans and cords.
Levi's.
Hey, go straight. Okay. Go down. Go down. Say what? Go down. Get down. Go down. Go down.
I got it! You get it!
Levi's
And we are back from commercial break. I hope everyone had a chance to go and take care of any business that they needed to take care of. I know I did. And we're back to going to my number 4 pick, if I'm not mistaken here. Let's or go next. Come on, go next. Joe. My number 4 pick is Lex Luthor. And of course, we have 3 different versions of Lex Luthor here. We have the updated design that I believe George Perez was responsible for that, if I'm not mistaken. It appeared in Superman comics back in the around the time that the Superpowers line had been they redesigned his costume for that. He had gone to the planet Luxor, and he had a wife and a kid, and Superman went there to get him and bring him back to Earth to bring justice. If Superman had left him there, Luthor would never have bothered him again, but instead, Superman had to go and grab Luthor up, and in the process, accidentally blew up the planet, killing Lex Luthor's wife and son, just making him go insane with rage, hating Superman even more than he ever hated him before, because now he has a real reason to hate Superman. Not because Superman made him go bald, but now because he's killed his family. And so that version, while great and everything, kind of looks real Jack Kirby to me, and I think that's where Perez was going when he redesigned that costume. We also have a businessman Lex Luthor from not only the animated cartoon show, but I think that was a takeoff of Byrne's interpretation of him. And we also have the Toy Biz I Can Hit Myself in the Head Lex Luthor up there at the top. But no, none of these versions are what I want to see. I want to see the one in the upper left corner. I want to see my purple and green guy with the jetpacks in his boots, with the little thing on his chest that has the 2 cartridges in it of I don't know what, but it was always there. That was the Silver and Bronze Age version of Lex Luthor that I remember so fondly from my childhood, who was a member of the Legion of Doom and looked like that in the Challenge of the Super Friends cartoon.
I love this pick. I think it's a complete travesty that he is not in the line as of yet. I agree with your choice. I think that is the version that they should do if they do one. I would even, since this is a wish list and we can wish for stuff, I think you could do both. You could do the top right and bottom left by having the armor piece removable, and you could have the best of both worlds there.
Well, I think that if Toddy Mack's going to do this, he's going to go in the direction that he did with first appearance Brainiac, and he's going to make Lex Luthor look like he does up there with that purple and green costume with the high collar that could reuse the book that he's already created for Booster Gold. Too easy to do there, Joneser.
You're probably right, and I'd be happy to have him in there at all. How do you have Superman and call it a superpowers line and not have Lex Luthor? This character needs to be there no matter what version we get. I mean, we can hope and wish for whichever one we want. I think we can all agree the businessman one and the hit me in the head one don't need to be there. But I think between the 2 in the top and bottom corner and the one in the middle, I'd be happy with.
Yeah. I just don't see him being re-released in that green costume with the things on the side of his head and all that again. I'm just saying that Booster Gold looking costume over there, I can see that book being reused that too easy. Getting into the chat, Gilster says it does remind him of Jack Kirby art, but Gojitron says, yep, George Perez did the redesign of Luthor with the Lexor outfit, the Lexor armor. And Ed Hannigan did the redesign of Brainiac. That would be the robotic skull version of Brainiac. And what was Toy Biz thinking as Nightwing with I can hit myself in the head, Lex Luthor? Hit me in the head, Lex Luthor is Toy Biz anyway. Yeah, we're not going to get another hit me in the head, Lex Luthor. That's ridiculous. You know what I did with mine, Jones, or you know what I did with my hit me in the head, Lex Luthor?
Yeah, you made Lawrence.
Exactly. I took that head and painted a big old handlebar mustache on him and stuck him on George the goon's body. What's his name?
Bob the Goon.
Bob the Goon. I put him on Bob the Goon's body, took that head, put on Bob the Goon's body, put a handlebar mustache on him, made me a little boom box for him to hold so that he could play a party man while they go in for the museum. And moving to the next slide here, we're going to see what your number 3 pick is there, Joneser. And it is Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Shazam.
Yeah, again, I chose this one for the folks who collected the original line. I think this is, again, one of those figures that's harder to come by or more expensive. This is a fun character, and I think Black Adam is probably inevitable at some point, so they're probably going to have him as well. You know, they'll probably just switch heads. It'd be just as easy to do. And so, yeah, that's a lot of the reasoning for the choice. I also wanted to touch on, as a kid, I always wanted to make Superman and Captain Marvel fight. And this would be a great way to make them fight. I'd also want a question for you, Bill. What should his name be? Should it be Shazam or Captain Marvel?
I'm gonna go with Captain Marvel personally, but I will concede with I think it was Gilster, it might have been, who said that they're toying with calling him just the Captain in the comics. But then again, we have that run with over in Marvel Comics with Captain America, where he put on the black outfit and called himself the Captain there for a while. There may be some conflict there. I don't know. We shall see. But I'm partial to Captain Marvel, and I'm chuckling to myself right now, looking over here at that Industrial Toy Works knockoff thing that went around for a little while. Captain Marvel figure with his lightning bolt on his chest backwards there. That's just killing me. I love Jason Bostwick there in the corner from the live action Captain Shazam Saturday morning show. And then we have the Justice League Unlimited version of Captain Marvel with the button up thing on his chest like he had in his first appearance in Wiz Comics. So, I like all of these versions, but I know what version that Toddy Mack would release were he to do a Captain Marvel, and it would look just like the new 52 version of Captain Marvel or Shazam.
I'm sure you're correct. And I did have to include that Saturday morning show with the Captain Marvel and them in the Winnebago off saving the world. I loved that show growing up, and it's corny, but it does the trick.
Going back to the chat, number 3 choice for Eternity Ellipse, Sir Clifton, is Black Adam. Well, here's the thing: you release a Black Adam figure or a Captain Marvel figure, it doesn't matter which, and you've got the buck for both. And I think the buck for that figure has already been released, and it already a blank buck has already been released. It'll be easy enough to repaint and make into either one of these characters.
Agreed.
Daniel St. John wants the whole Marvel family, Captain Marvel Jr., that looks like Mac Rayboy's version, Mary Marvel and Black Adam and Savannah and the whole bit. I would see Black Adam and Captain Marvel, Shazam, Captain Marvel before I would see any of those other characters that have named out. Not that they're bad choices, they're great choices. I'm just saying Toddy Mack ain't gonna do it.
No, he's not.
And Eternity Lips, like I said, wants the Black Adam figure before the Captain Marvel figure, and I could see that happening as well.
Yeah, they probably will do it that way because they need villains, and Black Adam can knock Superman around, and they've set that up in their movies, so yeah, it makes sense.
And for some reason, there are those that think that Black Adam is more popular than Captain Marvel anyway.
Well, maybe modern day nowadays he might be.
I think, and the way he's been portrayed in modern DC comics is he's an anti-hero, kind of like the Punisher, but he's got Captain Marvel powers.
And I don't like that. I like him to be just villain. Villains need to be villains.
Pure evil. Exactly. I agree with you. And Hoppy the Marble Bunny, 100% real. Google it. Oh, I already know. I know who Hoppy the Marble Bunny is, and you're correct. And I think Gojitron is popular to rabbits. I see a trend going there, Gojitron. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Gilster can't stand the rock version of Black Adam.
I didn't see the movie. I heard not to watch it, and
I did watch it, and the story wasn't a bad story. It just wasn't a Black Adam story. Does that make sense?
It does, but I mean, it's not keeping me up at night that I didn't see it, so I'm gonna just let it stay that way.
There you go. There you go. And once again, before I move this slide, I have to hee over there at Industrial Toy Works, who put the lightning bolt emblem on him backward. Way to go.
Did they all go out like that?
That yes, Industrial Toy Works did do that, and that's what they look like. And if you notice, his cape has got the clip on it like Superman's cape, and doesn't have the rope and button version like the Superpowers version did. Why Industrial Toy Works even bothered with a Captain Marvel figure, I don't know. From Kazakhstan, ladies and gentlemen.
Now I like my pick even better because it's a redemption. Now they could try to get it right this time.
Well, that's not the Superpowers version. That's Industrial Toy Works from Kazakhstan, who are releasing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's not the. Notice it says Captain Marvel up there in the corner, and it says new featuring magnetic power parts. That's because supposedly Industrial Toy Works had his arms and legs attached with magnets, but if you open that up, folks, it did not, and they fall off anyway. So the Industrial Toy Works made some great looking figures that look good on card, but they're not really good once you see them up close. I almost hit the button on eBay to buy a couple of these figures when they first started dumping them out, and I'm glad I never did, because I went to a toy show in Memphis and saw them up close in reality, and I'm like, ooh, no. Oh, no. No, I passed on these customs or these collector figures, that knockoffs that Industrial Toy Works did, so yuck.
Well, Bill, you're going to have to fire your research guy, because I originally intended to have an original Superpowers figure in that spot. And apparently I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, you're all right, Jones. I'm glad you put that up there anyway, because it gave us some great stuff to talk about here. Gilster agrees with us. Sean here with us. Hey, Sean, what's happening? Nightwing says Black Adam wasn't good. The Rock shouldn't even have been cast as Apache Chief. All right. There's not a lot of Rock love going on down there in the chat today. Let's go to the next pick here, and that would be my number 3 pick, Captain Cold. Let's flesh out Flash's villains, his rogues gallery first of all, so we have somebody besides Reverse Flash, which nobody was able to get anyway unless you were lucky. I got one. And once again, there is the Industrial Toy Works version of Captain Cold, which doesn't look too bad. He even has a holster there for his cold gun. No cold gun, but he has a hole in his hand so that if you put one in it, it'll fit. Nice going there, Industrial Toy Works. So yes, I think he should look like the Legion of Doom version with the blue face and his little snowblind glasses on to keep one snowblind. And will Toddy Mac include his cold gun? No, but hopefully he will include the holster so you can pretend it's always in the holster.
I love this choice. In fact, this would have made my list had I not been privy to your list first. Yes, I agree. We need to flesh out some of these other characters' villains. Ocean Master would have been good in this too, because yeah, nobody could get Black Mana and nobody could get Reverse Flash. So Captain Cold, again, core member of the original Legion of Doom, big part of the show. Never was released before. Yeah, this yes, 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 and yes, yes, all the way for me.
Getting into the chat here, Black Adam wasn't good. What do you think, Bill and Joneser? Well, you already heard our what we had to say about it. What are we picking here? Noses? Well, you know what they say, Sean. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you cannot pick your friend's nose. Daniel St. John says, yes, a great look to this villain. We want him. George Valentine says, Brosnan and I heard did a decent Dr. Fate. Gilster37 said he didn't know that Captain Cold was a Flash villain. Sorry. No, don't be sorry, but remember, Flash had his own Rogues Gallery, and it was one that rivaled Batman's Rogues Gallery, in my opinion. Probably just as good. Captain Cold is great, says Jeff. I hope he comes out. Batman's villains are bestest, says though. Gojitron says, how about a ice pack? A 3-pack with Captain Cold, Mr. Freeze, Icicle, and Killer Frost. I like how Gojitron's mind works.
Yeah, then you could recreate that horrible moment in Robot Chicken where they all showed up at the bank at the same time and argued.
There you go. Captain Cold would love Canada, says Rickster. Rickster would know. Yes, he would, agrees Jeff. Sean says, that's what you think, Bill. Okay, if anybody's going to pick their friend's nose, it would be Sean. I agree with you, Sean. Okay. I stand corrected, sir. So are we ranking rogues? Actually, we're saying superpowers figures that we hope Todd McFarlane will release for us. Penguin, question mark, says Hyperdelic. That was on, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of your honorable mentions, wasn't it, Joneser?
It was.
DJ Longhair says new Captain Cold wasn't bad. There we go. And Gilster loves those robot chickens, and I do too. Robot Chicken has influenced a lot of us YouTubers that create the stop motion animation with toys, and that would be me and Brushstroke and of course the ever popular Mr. Home Arcade. All right, let's go to the next pick, and that would be yours there, Joneser. Solomon Grundy, born on a Sunday.
Yes, sir. Oh, I thought he was born on a Monday. It was christened on Tuesday.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. I got the
grew worse on Thursday.
I'm high on caffeine. Sorry, you're correct, Joneser. I got my nursery rhyme.
Anyways, this is another member of the Legion of Doom. So again, one that we should have here. We could probably use the big buck to get this guy from that Kilowog. This is a no-brainer. And if you ever watch the cartoon, some of the funniest lines from the villains came from this guy. I mean, he was just great in that cartoon. Yeah, yes, all the way. I gotta have Grundy.
All right, so here's trivia time with Uncle Bill. Solomon Grundy is originally Alan Scott, Green Lantern's bad guy. As you can see, he's down there fighting the Justice Society of America. And he carried over into the modern age and I think became more of a Superman, Batman villain there when he came over to the Bronze Age. But yeah, and he was a member of the Legion of Doom. which makes me say good on you there, Jonas, for picking that character. We got another use for that big buck. All we got to do is just do a little bit of resculpts on the arms and the lower leg to make him look like he's wearing a tattered clothing. And like I said, good deal. Going to the chat here. Solomon Grundy wants pants too, said Sean. Don't worry, he's got kind of Hulk like ripped up pants. And Daniel St. John says, oh boy, we may get an Alan Scott Green Lantern, and Grundy and Green Lantern have a real history. There we go. Daniel St. John, being a superpowers aficionado that I have met from over on Facebook, would know. So he's right. Solomon Grundy is actually a well-written villain, says Sean. And Zombie Hunter 115 is with us. Hey guys, hey, how's it going, Zombie Hunter? Glad to have you with us. And Richter says that Frankenstein's cousin. Well, actually, I think he was born out of a radioactive swamp, if I'm not mistaken, kind of swamp thing.
Yeah, his original name, I don't know if it's the original story, but it's the one I'm familiar with. He was the Depression era gangster Cyrus Gold, and he was betrayed by his fellow brothers in arms and myrtleized into the swamp, and he emerges as Solomon Grundy, and then every time he loses his life, he's reborn more powerful.
Yes, that's correct. That's the version that I'm aware of as well. I don't know if that's the way the Golden Age version was created, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's right along in that line. Eternian Ellipse is number 2. Sir Clifton there, number 2 would want another 3-pack, a Watchmen 3-pack with Comedian, Ozymandias, and Dr. Manhattan in it.
The Watchmen would be cool, but I just don't think Toddy Mack's going to bite on that.
No, I don't either. And I think Toddy Mack
being, I do love those tricks.
I think Toddy Mack being the comic creator, comic artist that he is, would probably fall along with Alan Scott, saying, not Alan Scott, Alan Moore. Thank you. I'm thinking of Green Lantern. Alan Moore, and say, okay, Alan, I like you. You're my friend. I'm not going to do you wrong by going against your wishes and making your figures. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think the Watchmen fit with the superpowers vibe anyways, if I'm being honest. But I wouldn't be sad if they were in there, much like with the Sunman and He-Man. I don't think it belongs there, but it doesn't bother me that it's there. It would probably be the same effect on me if the Watchmen were in the superpowers. I would buy them. I would like them, but I just don't think that's the place for them.
And I tend to agree. But would I buy them? Oh, you better believe I would, sir. I would rather see the rest of the Carlton characters that the Watchmen characters are based off of released. That'd be Question, Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt, and we've already got Peacemaker, so why not go in that direction? But let me catch up with the chat real quick. Sean says Swamp Thing meets Voodoo, if he's not mistaken, kind of, sort of. He's a tragic character, sort of like Frankenstein. I agree with that one, Sean. Gojitron says he sees the Grundy from Legend Superheroes up there. I'll let Jones get on that one here in just a second. Sean really didn't like the Watchmen too much, aside from Rorschach, Dr. Manhattan's psychology. Well, it like I said, those characters were originally going to be the Carlton characters, but he couldn't use them, so he kind of made his own versions of them. Yes, George Valentine, there already is a Deathstroke the Terminator figure in this line. Go ahead, Jones. Talk about the Legends of the Superheroes. Grundy there.
Well, I just wanted to add all the different versions of Grundy in this picture that I could find. And yeah, the Legends of the Superheroes. Well, Legends of the Superheroes picture up there, but I was really hoping that you would bite on that Justice Society of America one, and I was very glad that you did. I led that little bait out there, and I caught me a bill, and I knew that would draw him in. I also included the cartoon version and that campy Saturday morning weird one with the live action that I think is great, but it's a little cringe to watch. And then in the bottom left corner, I included a toy of a Grundy just to, you know, have one there. But yeah, he's had a lot of different looks and a lot of different versions, and you know, this is a core character that I think just he needs to be there. I do have a little placeholder Grundy figure in my superpowers. I think I got this in a McDonald's thing, and so he sizes up pretty decently with him, and so he sits in there with my superpowers, guys.
Not too bad, not too shabby. Let me catch up a chat here a little bit. My stream's health says it's excellent right now. Sean was gifted a membership by Sean. That's very interesting. Only Sean could do something like that to himself.
So he gave himself a member.
Welcome to the weirdos there, Sean. Good deal, man. I appreciate you.
That's pretty weird.
Sean, Galactus is a Marvel character, so he wouldn't really be in the line. And yes, there is a Galactus figure out there in this world. Toy Biz had a Build-A-Figure Galactus, which I had at one time until my daughter decided it was hers. And then there's the big version. What is that? That was a Mattel Was it Mattel Creations? Who did that crowdfund Galactus there, Jones?
I want to say that was HasLab. Repulse?
Hasbro Pulse. Yeah, that's been done. That was the one with the knees that didn't work on it, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that's the one, the big giant one. Yeah, it was HasLab.
Yeah. DC only. That's correct. Galactus is Fantastic Four villain, which is a Marvel. What happened? I lost my mind. Okay, Sean gifted himself a membership, and he said, "Really, that's twice now it's happened to him." So when he became a member, it thought he was gifting himself a membership. It's odd. And Hyperdelic said he wouldn't want McFarlane to touch Galactus. Sean, we've already talked about Calendar Man earlier, but yeah, Calendar Man will be a great addition to this line. The goofy Justice League bad guys. Screw Your Feelings said, "Did I miss Gorilla Grodd?" Yes, you did. That was one of Joneser's honorable mentions at the beginning of the slideshow. George Valentine said, Darkseid and Orion would be nice. Well, we already got a Darkseid. Let's have Orion, and let's make him look right this time around and not have that goofy helmet on it. Sean says, "Damn, I'm super late to the party. Then we were almost an hour and a half into the stream when you showed up there, Sean." Nightwing says, "I got Solomon Grundy, Spin Master version. He's cool." And there was the Kenner Dark Knight Batman line penguin there that Joner just showed off. All right, so we got Solomon Grundy out of the way here. Let's go over to my number 2 pick, which is Hawk Woman. And Joneser, for some odd reason, has put the Hawk Girl logo up there and has added the Hawk Girl Kendra Saunders version of Hawk Girl over there in the bottom right-hand corner. He's got the Shaira version of Hawk Girl from the Justice League cartoon. But luckily, he's got Hawk Woman and her Bronze Age look that we had in the DC Style Guide there, which is the one that I was going for. So if I wanted to see Hawk Woman, I want to see the Satellite Justice League era Hawk Woman right there. And yes, she was called Hawk Girl until she got feminized in the 70s and told Carter Hall, "Look here, I'm not a girl. I'm not a little girl. I am a grown up. I am a woman. Call me Hawk Woman. Hear me roar."
Well, I have a very good reason for most of this. One, I looked up Hawk Woman logo and couldn't find one. So you got Hawk Girl logo because that's just what it is. I'd also say that, and again, this kind of stuff might rub Bill the wrong way, but I think it's funny. Most people don't know Hawk Woman. They know Hawk Girl. Anybody under the age of 40 don't know Hawk Woman. They saw Hawk Girl in the Bruce Timm Justice League thing, and that's the character now. That's what they call her now, and that's who she is now. And I do think if Toddy Mack's going to do one, it's going to be the one in the top right corner because that's the one everybody knows. Sorry to pop your bubble, my friend.
Not popping any bubbles. I'm just saying I don't think Toddy Mack would do. Well, actually, I'm wrong on that. Toddy Mack probably would go for that. Kendra Saunders or whatever her name is, version of Hawk Girl, or he may even go with the Bustier version of Hawk Girl up there from Justice League not Justice League Unlimited. By Justice League Unlimited, she was wearing that white costume with no mask, which I hated. But no, I want her to look like Carter Hall did in the original vintage line, so that she can stand beside him and be his wife on the Justice League satellite.
I love it. I love your reasons, and one good thing that you have going for you in that way is if Toddy Mack decides not to chase the dollar and instead goes with what his fandom is. I'm sure his fandom is much aligned with yours in that, is that he likes that version too. So if he goes with his heart and not his wallet, that's the one you're going to get. But I do think if he wants to sell toys, and being he's already adverse to girl characters to begin with, he's going to do a Hawk Girl. If at all.
I see you and George there having some funny moments there in the chat there. Calling me old. Sorry about that. No worries. It was just funny. And John says, the only Hawk person I care for is Voltan. Dive! Gordon's alive?
Right.
And Gilster37 says, what about Batwoman? Well, dude, I don't care for the black costume, red thing on her chest, Batwoman that they've done here recently, but I wouldn't be too averse to having a Silver Age Kathy Keene Batwoman with the yellow costume and the red thing, and didn't look like Batman at all costume that they had from back in the golden Silver Age. You remember that costume?
I do. Honestly, I think if they're going to Batgirl anything, it's going to be Batgirl looking like the 1966 Batgirl, and that's the one you're going to get if you get one at all.
Well, when she first came out, she had an all black costume out, and then towards the Bronze Age, she had a more gray blue costume similar to Batman's. Which version do you want, the black costume or the gray blue costume?
I liked the black one, to be honest with you. I thought that was a better look.
That would be the one where she actually had a purse on her utility belt, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that would be a better look. That's the iconic look, I think. But again, Toddy Mack don't like them girl characters, and unless he starts selling some, make them, because he does like money.
Yeah.
So if the money comes in with him, then we'll get some.
Sean, if you're looking for Big Mike from Manic Plastic, he generally has to catch the replays on the Saturday night show because I think he has to work. So he's in the bed right now. If you want to hook up with Mike, he has a Facebook, and he has a web page. And when we get done with this, and we're almost done with it, I'll play his commercial for you, and you can write down the information from that. He made both of those Batgirl versions in 66 6-inch line, says Jeff. And it could be a possibility. We shall see, sir. I had forgotten about that.
Batman related, so it's Batman related, so you got a shot.
Yeah,
he leans into the Batman stuff.
He does, because he knows that's where money's at.
Exactly.
Joneser's number one pick is the Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker.
Absolutely. How this figure, along with the Lex Luthor, is not there is mind-boggling because this toy will sell itself. Joker's popular. Joker's a character that's got to be there. If you're gonna have that many Batmans and no Joker, the only Joker that we got isn't even Joker. It's some weird version of Bruce Wayne that looks like Joker. Like, no, we gotta have Joker. Now, which version of Joker? As you can see, the top left corner, he's had a lot of different looks. Um, I'd be happy to have him at all, but I would prefer those two bottom left corner images. That's my Joker there. That's who I'd want to see. The two images in the bottom right there of the two toy versions that we got. I don't want either of those versions. I want to see a completely new Joker, maybe a bit modernized, but with the old Silver Age look. And then I will kick the commentary to Bill here, as I'm sure he is going to have a different slant on this.
I'm saying that he's probably going to hold back on releasing a Joker at any point. Why? First of all, it's been released vintage twice, both in the vintage Superpowers line and then again there in the Toy Biz line. And if he were to release a Joker, I think that it would look very much different from what the vintage Superpowers Joker looked like, because he would want to modernize him a little bit. So he would look more like the Spin Master version of the Joker. It would look more along those lines instead of so pointy chinned and weird hair and that kind of look.
Yeah, I like that choice. Again, that iconic comic cover there with him holding the Ace card with Batman on it, that Joker is, I think, the one that he should lean into if I was to get what I wanted. Um, yes, he just needs to be there. He needs to be there. There's no excuse to not have Joker here.
And Daniel St. John agrees with you there, Jones. Yep, overdue. We need a Joker. Now, we're going to get ready for my number one pick here. And I'm probably going to make some people go with this choice. But it's an overdue figure. He doesn't get a whole lot of love, and he does fill out my idea of what the Justice League Satellite era should be, and that is Mighty Might Atom. Looking at him there, you can see him in his iconic outfit from back in the day, not that one that with the cutout on the top with the sword in his hand that I hate. No, this is the Atom. This is Ray Palmer, the Atom. And as an accessory, he should have a little bitty version of himself in the package so you can pretend he's shrinking.
I at first kind of marveled at this pick and went, really? Your number one get is the Atom. But the more I thought about this, this is definitely a wish list. This is also like something you don't expect to get. This would be a good get. He's a great character, and like Bill's wants were to fill out that satellite era Justice League. This would be a fun character to have. I do think that to have a little bitty one with the big character would be a fun feature. Knowing Toddy Mack, you're going to get the one that's so small it's microscopic and you aren't going to see it at all, and that's going to be the one you get with him. But I do like this pick, and I do think that it's a great swerve for a number one. That I don't think many people would have said the Atom for their number one pick, but I am glad that you were the guy that did that, because I like this pick.
And of course, I swerved the chat really bad there. Jeff's like, I didn't expect that. And Hyperdiv's like, Firestorm. Aww.
Mr. Miracle would have been good choice. Both of those would have been good choices.
And Sean, Mr. Miracle was released in the original line, and that was a pretty damn decent figure. It even had the escape from the shackles power feature in it. Daniel St. John is like, yes, Silver Age Adam. Can we hope for a regular size? And yep, a little bitty version. And Eternity in the Ellipse says exclusive on McFarlane Toy Site. For one, Legion Begins 3-pack with Lex Luthor, Joker, and Chrome Brainiac. Okay. Has Plastic Man been done proper? Plastic Man has been done quite a bit, and I would say as close to proper as you can get in the DC Direct line that happened long ago. And Gojitron says Ray Palmer, the mentally stable shrinking guy, shade thrown at Frank Pym.
I love it. That leads me to a question, Bill. I'm not as super familiar with this character as you would be. So I know he's the shrinking guy, and he even goes into like microscopic places that people could. Is he a growing guy? Does he grow large?
No, he does not grow large.
Okay.
He has a belt that has a controller on it that uses matter from a white dwarf star that is very dense. Somehow, because of comics, it is able to make him shrink and grow back to normal. And
now, does it work a lot like Hank Pym's, where when he shrinks, does his strength grow in relative to his size, where he's small but he could still pack a mighty punch?
Yes.
Or is he just like a little tick? He's just gonna bounce off.
Yes. And he has super strength when he's small, or he has the strength of a normal man, even though he's small. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Gojitron. Gojitron will probably know better than I. I just remember that Adam from Super Friends, because he showed up occasionally in that, and I do remember him being part of the Satellite era Justice League, and I do know his backstory quite well. So yeah, and he could do all sorts of things, and he could go all the way down into the microscopic realm, and he lived there for a little while in that comic where you seen him with that sword in his hand that I don't like.
The Sword of the Atom?
Yeah, that's it. And I would even say that if they were to re-release Qatar Hall Hawkman, that if we want to get an Atom in that, we could get one that could sit up on his shoulder and have little places in his shoulder so that the Atom's thing could fit in there.
Sure. My only exposure to this character, or my best exposure, the way I was the most entertained, was in an episode of The Batman and the Brave and the Bold, which I don't know if you've seen that cartoon, Bill, but I highly recommend it.
I've seen some of them. I've seen them all.
There's an episode where him and Aquaman shrink down and go inside Batman's body to make him well again. And the great episode. That's probably where I'm the most familiar with this character.
And Gojitron says he likes sort of Adam just for Gil Kane's artwork. Well, Gil Kane was a wonderful artist, and he could do no wrong when it came to art. Eternity Lips answering something that I guess All Music Fan said. All Music Fan asks, did you cheat with these 3-packs of Eternity Lips? And he goes, no. Todd is doing 3-packs, just throwing options out there, what we could see. He's doing old school Justice League, and why did the Watchmen 3-packs? The Legion pack is going out with a bang. Okay. Black Vulcan and El Dorado, says Nightwing. He wants to see some of the Super Friends era superheroes that were done for the ethnic purposes, fill out the line in that way. I could see that, Nightwing. Yes. And Sean needs to watch that. Harley Quinn is on the list too. Yeah, she was one of your picks there, Joneser. Number 4.
Yep.
All
And I
right.
think, again, I'm going to reiterate that if he's going to do any female character at all that's not Wonder Woman, it's going to be her.
Yeah, I'm right, well with you there, and that would be a good character to do because now you have a clean female book to make any female character you want out of. I'm looking at you, Black Canary. So that brings us to the end of tonight's slideshow. So let me come up here and put me and Jones are back on the screen. I think I've got the chat caught up. I had several people have sent me super chats. So I'm going to pull that up where I can see all the super chats here. And here we go. Let's shout them out, and if they want special. I know Nightwing. Sue Studio with a $1.49 super sticker of a birthday cake slice. Mr. DJ Longhair with a $2 Booyah High All. I think he will work on his show, so he probably. Gilster 37 with a $2 super chat. Warner Twins 2-pack, or would that be not at all stupid? I think it ought to be a 3-pack with a Gleek. Of course, Nightwing with his request for the Superpowers team. And we've also got one here. Is becoming a member of the channel.
Bill, if you're gonna get into some music and fun here in a bit,
yes,
I think that time is now.
That time is now. All right, here we go. That time is now for Nightwing, and if anybody that has become a member or super chatted me wants something, that time is also now for request.
The Adventures of Super.
safety report from my vantage point. I really need to leave. So the fences inform me that the surrounding areas are in ruin. I see some people running now. In the opinion of this reporter, if this nation, or in fact the world, ever needed heroes, that time is now. That time is now.
All right, and thank you everyone for being here. We still have quite a few people with us. We're getting ready to do the final round. We're going to get Sean's pick in there, plus we're going to get the new tunes that I've created, and we're going to call that a night. No ducks are going to play. We'll play them right now because this is duck feeding time. So when the next round of music and fun is over with, I'm going to go straight to credits. Thank you guys for being here. And I'll go ahead and say it now. Good journey, and stay fantastic. Keep on collecting.
Getting ready to the blue. Skeletor with plans for something new. Gotta wash away the dirt from the day. Evelyn and Tila got something to say. Grab that soap, start the ladder up now. Nobody's gonna go down on you. Water splashing as we sing this song. Staying fresh is where you belong. We won't go down unless you're clean. Shiny bright like a hero's dream. Gotta scrub to earn that glow. He-Man and Skeletor, let's go. Evelyn has got demands. Teal's watching, watch that cock. No more grime and no more dirt. Clean you up, you big pervert. Rub a dub, make the helmet gleam. If you want fun, you need to scheme. Shower time, it won't last long. Join the clean and sing along. We won't go down unless you're clean. Shiny bright like a hero's dream. Gotta scrub to earn that glow. He-Man and Skeletor, let's go. Down unless you're clean, shiny bright like a hero's dream. Gotta scrub to earn that blow. He-Man and Skeletor, let's go. Go down unless you're clean, shiny bright like a hero's dream. Gotta scrub to earn that blow. He-Man and Skeletor, let's go. He-Man getting ready to super blue. Skeletor with plans for something new. Skills watching, watch that cock. No more grind and no more dirt. Clean up, you big pervert. He-Man, Skeletor, let's go. He-Man, Skeletor, let's go. Evelyn has got demands. Tila's watching, watch that cock. No more grind and no more dirt. Clean you up, you big pervert. Rub a dub, make the helmet gleam. If you want fun, you need to scheme. Shower time, it won't last long. Join the clean and sing along. And sing along. Gotta scrub to earn that blow. He-Man and Skeletor, let's go.
Basement dungeons full of treasures. Plastic dreams in every corner. Masters of the universe in treasures. Superpowers brought back from the border. We're fantastic, lives in the night. Bill's passion, fire burning bright. Collector, customizer, never says die. Chasing legends unpacked from the border. We're fantastic, lives in the night. Bill's passion, fire burning bright. Collector, customizer, never says die. Chasing legends under neon sky. We're fantastic toy adventures. Bill's world, surreal twist adventures. Old school loving plastic dreams. Toyland where nothing's as it seems. Junkyard finds in forgotten places. Bill's world serene, twist adventures. Old school love in plastic dreams. Toyland where nothing's as it seems. Junkyard finds in forgotten places. Well, Bill's hands great and faces. Skeletons only reborn in paint. Toys telling tales with no restraint. Fantastic adventures. Bill's world surreal
Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.